This is a silly fucking video game. It really is. If it's a video game, it's a bad one. It's a terrible video game. I've said this before. It's like you create an ARG and you make the financial systems be the entire point of the game. You make it take forever to acquire any tokens, and then have the tokens degrade in value so quickly that they can't really buy anything. I would say that this ARG is like that in virtually all respects. And it's also very isolated. If as humans or as beings we need close connection with one another, all of that is lacking here. And in fact, nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens, and as far as me personally, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not interested in making anything happen. I do make things happen from time to time, but for the most part, you want partners or playmates or something. And when those are lacking, then yeah. It seems to be more of a building, it's a place for building against resistance, against psychological resistance. And it's perfectly crafted. The game, the reality, life itself, you call it whichever you want. It's perfectly crafted to keep the levels on the edge, you know. It's like that video I made before, walking on the razor blade. It's always keeping all of the levels on the perfect edge, so as to get you such and so close to say snapping or going insane or being super depressed. You know, it usually pushes me toward the level of everything. It's more like absurdity. Like it's so absurd and laughable that I almost am unable to continue, you know, playing the game, as far as what I internally know is the most important aspect of the game, which is money creation. So when you know, when that's contrasted with the laughable lack of empathy across the board, and the lack of genuine care and the lack of real people, you know, like actual people. And that's by my definition, and I don't even I have just adapted to the situation. So for me, the fact that no one exists hardly at all, like real people to me, that's just normal. So I've adapted to that. But that is what it is, and it is. I mean, it's an absurd situation. So. And also, assuming that, you know, we are popping in from some other dimension, even if it's as simple as playing a video game called Earth in a video game parlor. Assuming that that's a possibility, then everything within the game, all of it is contained. You have to assume it's contained unless you have actual evidence otherwise. You can't just go by feelings and all of a sudden go on tangents where you're like, well, you know, we're in this video game and something we created just leapt out of the console into the parlor and one dimension up, and now everything's all fucked up there too. No, you can't do that. That's ridiculous thought leap. You have to actually get out, stop playing the game, and then I'm sure all of those ideas will be left behind in the game. I have a feeling that our brains are wired here to suppress actions that say the game creators don't want certain things happening. Being that everything is difficult here, what they would do with that situation is they would make it a struggle to have those things even appear in the mind in the first place, right? And then when those things did appear in the mind, they would, especially if there are managers, this would make more sense because and this is actually a good idea for a game within this game if players here in this game want to make money. But to have a video game, not even a submersive, fully submersive, you know, cortical stack consciousness transfer experience video game. I'm not talking about that. You can even have just a regular multiplayer war game or something where psychological profiles are drawn up for the players, and you know, it's an elaborate application process to even become accepted as a possible player. And then once you're in there playing the game, there's a team on the outside working, right? On the outside working, and they're managing your experience within the game, and they know your psychological profile perfectly. Okay, not perfectly. I wouldn't say perfectly because I know I understand what I'm doing here as well, but they understand your psychological profile very well, and they know thought processes. They can see your thoughts. They can see your plans. They can see all of everything, right? To you, it seems like, oh, I'm so alone. Nobody knows what's going on. Or you have all this ridiculous talk about gods and devils and demons and angels and ghosts and whatnot. And you've never seen one hide nor hair of any of them, except your lovely imagination has tried to conjure some of these things, so the place won't seem quite so mundane. But even so, that has never happened either. But so the game managers would have a psychological profile, and they would learn with you as you learn in the game, and you try new methods for development, whatever that might mean to you. You try new methods for progress within the game, even game progress, even if you're not trying to be all serious and find the truth of life, even if you still don't even go so far to say, I am playing a game. You don't take that stance, and you just say, this is life, and what do I do about it? In the interest of keeping the experience as difficult as possible, because that's what it feels like it is, the psychologists will learn with you. They will learn as your neural net develops and adapts. They're behind the scenes tapping away on keyboards, taking notes and saying, well, he did this time, he did that time, he almost ran a red light that time. What does that mean exactly? What does that mean for his mind? What does that mean with his developmental patterns? And so this team is closely monitoring your every movement, and just like thought police, in a game situation, these guys would be good guys. But see, here's the possibilities are endless, of course, but anybody can be corrupted, and if you're dealing with complex situations that you don't understand, then anything can happen, and maybe that's why this game's so difficult. Especially if the game managers are compromised in some fashion, or if they can't handle their role as psychological caretakers for the players, then things could get sketchy. That's all for now. Hope everyone's doing well. Peace and rice.